Jai Hind everyone. With 25 deaths in 5 weeks, the experts are still clueless about the new virus outbreaks. The investigations that had initially revolved around the most common carriers, the sandflies, the mosquitoes, the ticks, but all of these investigations turned out to be negative. And now the samples have expanded themselves to the blood samples of cattle, goats, and also the milk samples are being taken. But with the number of deaths due to this Chandipura virus gradually increasing, and in just about 25 weeks, 25 young children have died. The public health specialists are still to find out any trace of the virus in any of the known carriers screened so far. So far, the most common carriers being the sandflies, which were found in the crevices of the mud houses or the livestock. Thousands of screening samples have taken place, but results from this massive screening exercise taken after the start of the outbreak since June 30 that covered thousands of sandflies and later extended to mosquitoes and ticks suspected to be the carriers of this virus all turned out to be negative. The real question now is where exactly the virus is breeding. Now, this question continues to haunt the researchers who were clueless after similar screenings even during the 2024 CHPV outbreak. And in 2024, around 28 children had died out of 78 that had showed similar symptoms. Now, in this current outbreak, the Gujarat government has confirmed 39 children infected with the Chandipura virus, and to be noted, 25 out of these 39 have already died. So the bigger question is that the health specialists are clueless about this new virus outbreaks. So where does the solution lies? Okay, and where are we heading in the investigation? So imagine a virus that has been known to the science for over 60 years, but yet when it strikes, we are left completely in the dark about how it moves. Now, that is the reality we are facing specifically in Gujarat and Rajasthan right now. And this is the case wherein in just 5 weeks, 25 children have died. And this 25 children, if we have to count it out, that is roughly one child every 2 days. Okay. Now, moving ahead, let us discuss what essentially lies ahead for us. Okay. And today we will deep dive into why experts are calling this a clueless outbreak. So, if we have to understand this, okay, now this essentially started from 30th of June, okay, and until mid of August 2026, okay, we have already lost 25 children, okay. Now 184 suspected cases tested, 39 confirmed, and 25 deaths, okay. So the case fatality rate is 62.9%. Now, this essentially means that if your child is confirmed with this virus, there are very less chances of survival. Okay, and we can understand that if we even have the look at the geography, okay, 12 districts, okay, in Gujarat, Patan and Sabarkantha have the highest, plus 3 districts in Rajasthan. Okay, even though the geography is not very massive, okay, these are not massive clusters, these are scattered cases across 15 different districts. Now, this is not a typical outbreak where we are able to see a clear epicenter. It is like a virus that is popping up randomly. And due to this randomness, okay, the picture becomes very unclear. Okay, so due to this randomness, it makes containment incredibly difficult for the entire health machinery to understand. And while analyzing this, okay, we have to remember that this similar case had happened just 2 years ago in 2024. So we actually have had the time to prepare, but yet there are a few gaps due to which we are suffering again. So what is essentially the Chandipura virus? Okay, now this virus belongs essentially, broadly, it belongs to the same family as it was rabies. Okay, so this is a RNA virus. Okay, so if we have to understand it, we have to think of it as a cousin of rabies virus. So this would help us understand how aggressive it is to the nervous system. Okay, and this virus, it was discovered way back in 1965 in Maharashtra. So it is essentially, okay, not a very new virus, it is an old enemy. But the catch here is that it specifically targets the children. Okay, so it causes acute encephalitis syndromes, the AES syndrome, which rapid causes brain inflammation. Okay, now why does this primarily target children under 15 years of age? Okay, now because in these children they are developing immune system, and thinner blood brain barrier allows the virus to sneak into the brain much faster than in the adults. For most of the adults, it will have symptom like a mild flu. Okay, but for a 5-year-old, it is a death sentence, that too within 24 to 48 hours. Clear? Now, when we look deep into it, the symptoms and the rapid clinical progression. Okay, early it has symptoms like the flu. Okay, sudden high fever, severe headache, vomiting, diarrhea, and the body aches. Neurologically, in 1 to 2 days, you will find seizures, altered sensorium, drowsiness, and even the patient might slip into coma. Okay, deaths can occur within 24 to 48 hours of hospitalization. Okay, but the only silver lining is that it does not travel person to person. Clear? So there are a lot of terrifying things in this. Okay, and the most terrifying thing is the speed of this virus. Okay, a child might go from playing in the yard to having a high fever in the morning, and by next evening the child might slip into coma. Okay, so this virus, okay, it progresses from flu to brain inflammation in just hours. Okay, but herein, okay, you need to say it that this is not COVID. Okay, you cannot catch it from coughing or sneezing. Okay, now this clearly means that we need not isolate a child from the caregiver, but we do need to get them to a hospital, to an ICU immediately if we observe such neurological signs in the child. Okay, now the next thing, how does it spread? Okay, so established, it has been primarily linked to the sandflies, which are thriving in the cracks of mud houses and livestock areas. Okay, now the reality, around thousands of samples of sandflies, mosquitoes, ticks that have been taken, all have come out to be negative. Okay, now the samples are being taken from the blood samples of cattle, goats, buffaloes, and also the milk samples, and still they are all negative. Okay, now uh, uh, to conclude this, okay, it is suspected that the main vector may not be found carrying the virus. Okay, so this is the $1 million question here. Okay, for decades we pointed the fingers at the sandflies. Okay, the tiny insects which were found in the crevices, mud walls. Okay, but if we have a look in 2024 and again in 2026, scientists who went into the affected villages with the nets also had the traps. Okay, and they collected thousands of sandflies, mosquitoes, and ticks. And when they brought them back to the laboratory, okay, every single mosquito flies were tested and they came out to be negative. Now they even tested the local cows and goats, thinking they might be holding the virus, again all negative. So it is like catching a criminal but finding no fingerprints, no DNA, no witnesses at the crime scene. So what essentially are the experts looking at? What essentially is the are the health specialists suggesting now? Okay, so according to them, okay, if we have to understand it through an analogy, okay, if a bank robber uses a very specific car, okay, then you look for that car. But if we have to search the entire parking lot and the car is not there, then ultimately we have got multiple options. Okay, first, either the car was cleaned too well. okay, that might have been missed. Secondly, the robber might have switched it with another vehicle. And third might be that the robber is hiding in the house and we are not looking at that place. So experts have also talked about this virus in a similar fashion. Okay. Now, the experts have been saying that we need a longer time period to have a surveillance and not just around the monsoon, because this virus might be quietly circulating in the environment at very low levels. Okay. And the experts, they do believe that virus might be flaring up only around the monsoon season, and it might be the monsoon that triggers the virus. Okay, and then ultimately there might be a boom in the population of the insects. Okay, so in this situation we can understand the experts, why do they call it clueless? Because of the low infection rate. Okay, the vectors have extremely low infection rate. Okay, and they finding a positive scent fly is like finding a needle in a hay. Timing gaps, reactive samples. Now, during outbreaks, they might miss the peak of the vector transmission. Okay, vector switching. The virus might have mutated like the chikungunya did to infect a new mosquito or an insect species that we are not testing for the animal reservoirs. The virus might be hiding in a specific animal, example birds, rodents, that we even have not screened until yet. Okay, so the bigger question is that who is most at the risk. Okay, so demographically, the children under the age of 15 years, okay, especially under those of 10. So rural or semi-rural homes with kacha walls, okay, proximity to livestock, cattle sheds. Okay, during the monsoon season, the peak vector activity is noticed. Okay, secondary factors, malnutrition and poor housing conditions, they also weaken the immunity of the child. That might also be a reason why it is spreading in the similar areas. Okay, so even though we have noticed the vulnerable sections, then what essentially is the response and what all are the control measures that are being taken? Okay, so the government, okay, is not sitting idle. They have deployed the National Joint Outbreak Response Team as well as the ICMR experts team. Okay, the health department has been spraying insecticides heavily, but spraying is reactive. Okay, it kills adult flies but does not stop the breeding cycle of this. So the key prevention message ultimately for the public is now the key message is incredibly low technology but very effective. Okay, you have to seal the cracks. Okay, use the nets. If you are living in the rural areas, ensure your child sleeps away from the walls. Okay, not against the walls, because that is where the sand flies are hiding. Now, early ICU care, it also saves the life. So if a child has a fever and starts acting even slightly confused, do not wait for the diagnostic test to come. Immediately rush the child to the hospital. Clear? So these are some important measures that have to be taken. Clear? But still, we have to see that there are a few questions which are still unanswered. Okay. Now, there are a few questions which are unanswered. The first and the most prominent question is, where is the virus hiding exactly? Okay. Moreover, the second question is, are there multiple vectors involved? Okay. And the other most important question is, why is there no geographic clustering despite vector presence? Clear? So in this case of CHPV virus, we are dealing with an old virus but in a slightly new form, or we can say in a slightly new baffling settings. Clear? We have the treatment protocol. Okay, what is the treatment protocol? It says that there has to be supportive ICU care, but we lack the ultimate prevention tool. The big question mark that is hanging over this outbreak is the transmission cycle. Okay, until we are able to find out the transmission cycle, or where the virus hides during the dry season, or which insect is actually biting these children, we will not be able to find out the exact solution to this. Okay, so it will be like playing this game every monsoon season. Okay, moreover, we must also understand that this is not just a problem around the Gujarat and Rajasthan, it is a national problem. Okay, it is a health failure. We need to have more veterinarians, we need to have more entomologists and the virologists who must work together year round, okay, to find out the solution to this, and they must not work only during the crisis or must not wait for the crisis. Okay, so it is only together that we can break the chain of this mysterious killer. Okay, so ultimately this presentation, this session, I did not bring out this session to scare you but to equip you. Okay, so if you take one thing away, okay, we must be very attentive towards the symptoms, and if a child in the area around you, in the community around you, has a high fever, sudden high fever, okay, severe vomiting, and starts acting confused or having fits, okay, that is the red alert. Ultimately that child must be hospitalized, and please do not administer anything on your own, or do not wait until the diagnostic text come. Okay, do not wait, do not rely on home remedies, and the only solution to this is early hospitalization. Early hospitalization is the known lifesaver right now. Okay, so if you find out someone around you, just ensure that the child gets hospitalized at the earliest. Clear? Also, do let me know what all are your views on this. Okay, along with this, we are currently running the Freedom Day sale, wherein StudyIQ IAS is offering up to 79% discount on all of its courses plus double validity. You just need to use this code SRM Live to avail maximum discount and all benefits. Okay, and just understand that the our GS Foundation courses are based upon the SMART model of preparation, and this caters to you the complete ecosystem to prepare yourself for the UPSC examination in the most holistic and also the smartest possible way. Clear? So this was all from my side today. We'll see you all in the next session. Jai Hind.